Hi guys, I'm Alisa, evidential psychic medium. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time being here. I talk about mediumship, I talk about spirituality, I talk about the mechanics, I talk about all these different aspects to being a medium. So thanks for joining me today. And today we're talking about getting no's. It's super important as your development is going on that you get no's, because it teaches you a lot about your mediumship. It teaches you a lot about where you're at within your mediumship and your ability to learn to move past the no's if they're coming up, and to learn how to deal with them if they're happening. So that you can know what's going right with your mediumship and what isn't quite going as well as you'd like. So first things first, you're going to have to learn to accept that you're going to get no's. It's part of the deal. It's part of the journey. It can be frustrating, absolutely, but it's there to teach you something. So the first part of this is to understand why the no's are happening. There are many different reasons the no's can be happening, and to understand what it is that's happening within your mediumship is extremely important. Why are the no's happening? That's what we need to figure out. Why are the no's happening? Well, I'm going to tell you this, and you might not like it, but I need to tell you. They're not happening because it has anything to do with the spirit person. I have unfortunately heard mediums blame the spirit world or the spirit people, saying things like they're busy, they can't be accessed, they're a poor communicator, they're shy, they have nothing to say, they're here just to say hi. And I have to tell you, none of that is true. I know that might make some of you upset, but that's the truth of it. We as mediums have to take responsibility for our mediumship, and we can't be blaming the spirit world. It's not them, it's us. So let's break it down. Now, if you've already established how to make a link with the spirit world, which is the most important first step of mediumship, then we're going to have things that happen that are going to shake our confidence, they're going to frustrate us, and they're going to make us question if we're a medium at all. That is part of how this all works. And everyone that has gone through development has experienced these same sort of feelings. Please know that it is okay and that you will move through it and that it's fine. So you're in the middle of a practice reading, you've made a link with a spirit communicator, you're able to feel them, or you're able to get information, and you start to get some yeses, and then all of a sudden you start saying something and it's a no, and then another no, and then another no, and you think, what is going on? So you need to be able to look at what's going on with you. So what happens is sometimes when a new medium is developing, they haven't been able to completely stay within the power of the spirit person, or be able to keep their attention on the spirit communicator that's there, because they've moved into their mind, or because they have gotten frustrated or not been able to relax, or because something has closed down their energy so that they're no longer sensing within their energy field the spirit person that was there. So that can be one reason why a no is happening. So what you need to do to fix that is you need to go back. You have to start from the beginning again, of going back to checking within yourself, expanding your energy out, staying in a very neutral place, a relaxed state, a daydreamy space where you're altered into that nice altered space, and become receptive again to the spirit person, because the spirit person hasn't gone anywhere. It's not that they've left you, it's that you've left them. So you have to remember that they're always there. And so because they're always there, and I'm feeling them now as I'm talking, because I've moved myself into the power through talking about this. Because they're always there, you then become receptive to them again through going back and starting from the beginning. So start from the beginning in your reading. Don't be worried about doing that, because you're learning and that's how this works. So start from the beginning, go back to the feeling place, go back to your heart center, expand out your energy again, and start over. Another reason you might be getting a no is because you have interpreted the information. So our minds are always trying to come in to understand or interpret the information, and our job as a medium is to learn how to stop that from happening. So our job is to move our minds out of the way as much as possible. We need to be as empty of a vessel as we possibly can to let the information come through us instead of from us. It's not information from us. It's from a spirit communicator. So if our brains are getting involved in any way, as besides just speaking the words and acknowledging what's coming, then we aren't really doing mediumship at that point anymore. It's just coming from us. So that's not mediumship. So to be a medium, you have to be able to do this on a regular, consistent basis. So what you need to learn to do is not interpret the information that's coming forward. And how do you do that? Well, you simply instead start to describe your experience that you're having. So if you have given information that they have said no to, but you know through your mediumship that you actually were feeling the spirit person, you know that that information came to you and it wasn't something you made up, then you need to go back to the spirit communicator and you need to either ask them to give it to you in a different way, or you need to go back to what they actually gave you and describe it as they gave it to you. So as you do that, what will likely happen is it will change from a no to a yes from your recipient that's receiving the information. That almost always happens. So you need to remember not to interpret the information or to hold on to it or to examine it and try to understand it, because it's not your information to understand. It's for the recipient to get the information for them to understand. So if you can remember that step, then you will likely not get no's anymore when it comes to giving information and giving it correctly. Now, this next reason you might be getting a no can be a little bit frustrating for a medium. Sometimes our sitters or our recipients that are getting the information from the spirit communicator, they just don't remember. They just get psychic amnesia and in the moment and they don't remember. So that happens sometimes, and that's okay. So you have to be able to learn to let that go when it happens. Don't try to make the information fit for them. Don't try to shove it down their throat, because if you're doing that, then that's really your ego. And your ego really has no place in the communication. As I was saying before, mediumship is about service. Mediumship is about moving out of the way, and your brain doesn't need to be involved in this, and neither does your ego. So if you're trying to force the sitter to take the information, check in with yourself and see why you're doing that. So just know and explain ahead of time before you do your reading that these things can sometimes happen, and that a lot of times afterward, the information will come to them later. So if you're really strong in your mediumship and you're aware that the information has come, you received it, you didn't interpret it, and you gave it as best as you can from what you actually got, then just move on from there. Just move on and don't let the no shake you or close you down, because if your confidence starts to go, your energy starts to close up, and then you're not going to be receiving information anymore. So just keep going, keep moving with it, and know that's okay. A lot of times they'll come later to you, they'll give you a phone call, they'll write you an email or a text and tell you, hey, that information you said was correct. Sometimes they have to check with another person in the family or their friends too. That's another thing that can happen. And you need to explain this all as before your reading to your client, that this is a possibility that can happen. Also, if you're doing a public demonstration of mediumship and you're in a public setting, sometimes the people aren't comfortable fessing up to the information that's coming forward. Sometimes they're not ready to do that, either personally or publicly. So know that's another option, and just let it go and move on to the next thing. Now, this last one sometimes happens to even the best mediums. Sometimes life just gets in the way. Sometimes you're just not able to move out of the way as much as you would like to. And sometimes there's just circumstances that make it difficult for you to connect in the way you would hope to. So just know that's a possibility, because you're not a robot, you're a person, and you still have to go through these phases sometimes where our mediumship kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes we're really on it and like we're getting, amazing information coming through us. And sometimes it's just sort of like, hello, are you there still? So it just is the way life is. Things ebb and flow, and that's natural and okay. So know that ahead of time. Know that it doesn't mean you're not a medium anymore if all of a sudden you're having a difficult time with it, because a lot of times what's happening is something is shifting or changing within your mediumship, and eventually it comes back and you then are a stronger medium than you were before. So just know that's a possibility. Now, if you're in the middle of a reading and you're trying to connect initially and you're getting no, and something's not quite right, you've gone back to starting, back to to being center, to being relaxed and going through your process of linking in with a spirit communicator, and it still is not fitting for some reason, just know that's okay. Know that you have the ability to either reschedule your client, or if you just don't feel like it's a good match for some reason, it's okay to refer out to another medium. Make sure that you are refunding their money if you're not able to make a link and give them the information that they're coming for. That's part of ethics, in my opinion. So if you are trying and it's not working, make sure you are giving their money back. Make sure that you are trying to reschedule if that's something that needs to be done, or you just are referring out to someone else. So those are some reasons why we get no's in our mediumship. What is really important is that you learn to take responsibility for your own mediumship. You start to examine why these things are happening within you and to not blame other people or the spirit world for these things. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do, everything is internal. Everything is either there's some blocks coming up, or there's life coming up, or there's some sort of reason that you are having these experiences of getting no's. So what you have to be able to do is reflect upon your work. Reflect in a neutral way without judgment, but in an honest way, so that you can grow, so that you can do the service that you're hoping to do, so that you can help people in the way you really want to. So just know that part of the development with mediumship really has to do a lot with personal work as well, developing within yourself and cultivating within yourself new ways of looking at things, being able to be honest when you're having issues come up for you and to deal with them, and whether that's through therapy, through meditation, through alternative means of doing that. All of those things are great. Those are all great. We're living a physical life. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that. It's part of the package. So just know that, and please know that getting a no doesn't mean that you suck. Getting a no doesn't mean that you're a bad medium. Getting a no doesn't mean that you're not a medium. Just know it's part of the journey. Know it's part of your unfoldment, and it's there to teach you something and to help you. Okay, guys. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to talk to you and answer your questions or read your comments. And if you would like to find out more about me, you can go to meganalisamedium.com, where I do private readings, evidential psychic or mediumship readings, which means I bring forward evidence that you can validate. I also do public demonstrations of mediumship when we're not in quarantine, and online too. And you can find me on Instagram at She's Got a Rebel Heart, where I do free mediumship demonstrations on Instagram Live a couple times a month. So you can come and join in there. And I just hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys again soon. Okay, bye.